Welcome to Bible Answers for Today, where we discuss God's creation and how to defend our faith. I'm your host, Mike Riddle, and our challenge question for today is, how could Noah fit all the animals on the ark? Well, skeptics often scoff at the biblical account of Noah's ark and the flood. They claim it was just a fairy tale or some story about a local flood. Non-believers and even some in church today will argue that it's not possible for all those animals to fit on the ark. Well, to answer this challenge of how Noah could have fit all the animals in the ark, we will take a three-step approach. Step 1, how did the animals get to the ark? Step 2, how big was the ark? And step 3, how many animals needed to be on the ark? Well, step 1, how did the animals get to the ark? To answer this question, let's go to Genesis chapter 6, verse 20, where it states, "Of the birds after their kind, of animals after the kind, and of every creeping thing of the earth after its kind, two of every kind will come to you to keep them alive." So the answer is, God brings them to the ark. Noah doesn't have to go out and round them up on some wild safari. So step 2 now, how big was the ark? A place to start here is to recognize what the ark looked like. We mostly see pictures of the ark looking like a houseboat with giraffe's head sticking out, or some other small vessel that would not float very well. However, this is not what the Bible teaches. A description of the ark can be found in Genesis chapter 6, verses 15 and 16, where it states, "And this is how you shall make it. The length of the ark shall be 300 cubits, its width 50 cubits, and its height 30 cubits. You shall make a window for the ark, and you shall finish it to a cubit from above, and set the door of the ark in its side. You shall make it with lower, second, and third decks." Now, there are 4 things we get from this biblical description. Number 1, it did not look like a houseboat. Number 2, it was about 450 feet long, 75 feet wide, and 45 feet high. Number 3, it was large. It was about 1.5 football fields in length and had 3 decks. And 4, it had a 6-to-1 length to width ratio. As it turns out, these dimensions are the perfect ratio for a large boat built for seaworthiness. In other words, the ark was not built for speed since it didn't have anywhere to go. Shipbuilders during World War II used approximately the same ratio to build barge-like ships to carry tremendous amounts of cargo, much like the ark. With these dimensions, the ark had the capacity of about 520 railroad cars. So now that brings us to step 3. How many animals needed to be on the ark? A common misconception is that all the creatures had to go on the ark. The Bible does not teach this. In Genesis chapter 7, verses 14 and 15, "Every beast after its kind, all cattle after their kind, every creeping thing that creeps on the earth after its kind, and every bird of its kind, every bird of every sort. And they went into the ark to Noah, 2 by 2, of all flesh in which is the breath of life." So what is included here? Well, it's living things with the breath of life. This would include the beast and the cattle. That would be any 4-footed large animal, the birds, all the flying creatures, and the creeping things, which are mostly referring to small reptile-like creatures. Now, what is not specifically included here is the sea creatures. They would not necessarily be threatened with extinction in a flood of this kind. Could all these animals fit on the ark? Well, first, the Bible never states that full-grown creatures went on the ark. God could have brought the young animals. Second, only kinds went on the ark, not all the varieties within kind. For example, only 2 of the dog kind went on, 2 of the cat kind, 2 of the elephant kind, 2 of the horse kind. This would greatly reduce the number of kinds in the ark to about 20,000. Third, since only young animals would need to be on the ark, the average size would have been about the size of a small sheep or even smaller. Fourth, the average railroad boxcar can hold up to 240 sheep. So now let's do some math. We have about 20,000 kinds. So if we have a male and a female, that is about 40,000 total animals. If we put just 200 animals per car to give them a little more room, we have 40,000 creatures divided by 200 per car, which equals 200 cars full, and 320 are still empty. So right now we have plenty of room still on the ark. But what about those dinosaur creatures? Well, there are about 100 known species of dinosaur, which gives us a total of about 200 dinosaurs, meaning male and female, on the ark. To give them some extra room to grow, we'll just put 100 in a boxcar. This will add just 2 cars to our total. Assuming we did not include the dinosaurs in our original 20,000 kinds, this would give us 200 plus 2, or 202 cars full, and still 318 cars empty. Plenty of room left. But what about the insects? Scripture does not give us enough detail here. So what do we know? Well, Genesis 7:15 states that only creatures with the breath of life went on the ark. Insects do not have nostrils or lungs and do not intake air like other land animals. Insects also do not have blood like humans and other animals. Many could have survived on masses of floating vegetation. However, there are some delicate insects like butterflies and bees which would have had a difficult time surviving outside the ark. This could indicate that certain types of insects may have been on the ark. Well, let's stretch this even a little further. Would it have been possible to have 1,000,000 insects on the ark? Well, the answer is still yes. See, insects are very small. If each stayed in a 4-inch cubicle, that would only add 12 boxcars to the total. So now we have 202 cars plus the 12 new cars, or 214 boxcars full and 306 boxcars still empty. So now we have answered the challenge. How could Noah fit all the animals in the ark? And we have seen that there was plenty of room for all the creatures, Noah and his family. So once again, we have shown that the Bible can always be trusted in all matters of faith, all matters of history, and all matters of science.